Tigers for their last conference loss here. It was Fresno State.
5 seconds of play across midcourt. Takes the three.
Good! Dominic Young with the game winner, and Tark would beat Utah 2 times that year. Tonight in Salt Lake City, the Dogs and the Utes match it up one more time in the WAC. In the ever-changing landscape of the Western Athletic Conference, this year, Fresno, Utah, and New Mexico battle it out in the Pacific. And right now, the Utes are 4-0. Everybody thought the conference title would have to go through here, but the Dogs are hanging right there at 3-1. And Jerry Tarkanian says if we can sneak one on the road tonight, we control our own destiny. Bob Carpenter, Dan Bonner in control tonight. And Dan, speaking of controlling this ball game, it's got to start with the guards. We've got some great ones here tonight.
Bob, we sure do. I think for Fresno State, you have arguably one of the most talented backcourts in the country. Certainly one of the most explosive. Chris Herron, Courtney Alexander averaged 35 points per game between them. Utah's answer may be the best point guard in the United States. Andre Miller, this guy not only is a great passer, he's a great scorer, an outstanding rebounder. He truly does it all for the Utes.
Fresno State 13-6, 3-1. Their only loss in the Pacific on the road at San Jose State. Melvin Eli is their shot rejecter. He's an outstanding defensive player who gives great help to other teammates who get in trouble, covers up for a lot of their mistakes. And if Andre Miller doesn't score a lot, Hano Metala has to. Sometimes Rick Majerus' club has trouble putting the ball in the basket. 224 wins in just over 10 years here, and 323 in his 15 years. We saw Jerry Tarkanian 3 weeks ago tonight get number 700. He has never been beaten by Rick Majerus, and how many coaches can even think about making a statement like that? Fresno State Bulldogs in their road red, the Utes at home in their white. Hano Metala at midcourt against Melvin Eli. This should be an interesting ball game. Chris Herron's ankle is a lot better. Taking him a while to get organized out on the court. It's almost as if nobody knows which direction they're going.
Bob, I'm sure they all know which direction they're going. And Melvin Eli, he's the only real center Fresno State has. He cannot afford to get into foul trouble.
And a Majerus coach team knows how to work on those sort of things. Chris Herron runs the point for Fresno. High-risk pass. Nate Althoff broke it up for the Utes. Miller right side. He'll get it back from Killian. Great look. Jensen. Andre Miller with his 106th assist of the year.
Pretty easy basket for Utah. Fresno State needs to keep him out of that area.
Terrence Roberson strong on the dribble. Larry Abney is there with the answer. That's a big lift for them. Abney averaging 7 points a game, 7 boards. Fresno Miller for Jensen.
Fresno State not really an outstanding rebounding team. Utah is, so Fresno happy to get that basket to start the game.
Yeah, Fresno -4 per game in rebounding. Hano Metala, his first basket for the side, shooting a cool 50% on the year. 4-2 Utes right out of the first minute.
Man-to-man defense for Utah.
Courtney Alexander rims out. That was a long three. Abney almost got a foul for being on the back of Hano Metala, and Fresno State will keep possession here.
Courtney Alexander tends to shoot it up from way outside, but you don't always need to go way outside. Andre Miller, the outstanding pass to Jensen. He gives the fake to Eli, and he's up at the basket.
Chris Herron, we'll see him penetrating all night long, but we'll see Andre Miller stopping now and then. Oh, that pass! Touchdown, Utah!
What a great two-handed chest pass. Hit him perfectly in stride. 2 assists now for Miller, 1 steal.
And I really think, Dan Bonner, 2 of the smartest players in America on the same team. Alex Jensen with Andre Miller.
Utah really looking to push it up the court, get the ball quickly into the offensive zone.
Miller takes contact in the air from Courtney Alexander. That's a late determination that Jerry Tarkanian made, was to put Alexander on Andre Miller.
Andre Miller, the career leader at Utah in steals, picks the ball right there and then hustles after it to pick it up. Roberson had a chance at it but didn't get it. You cannot throw a pass any better than that.
What a night Andre had in Hawaii last Monday against the Rainbows. 17 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, a handful of steals, and he follows that up against San Jose State the other day with a 20.5 assist day. Kept alive, Nate Althoff. Metala looking to score. Jensen will go back on top to Jeremy Killian. Oh, look at that entry. Metala for Jensen, and Alex will never get 6 easier points in his career.
Utah really playing well on the interior, particularly on the offensive end. They're getting very, very easy baskets.
The switch by Althoff, that releases Abney, reluctant to shoot.
Well, he's not going to shoot it from out there, and because he won't.
Oh, Courtney Alexander.
That left the middle free, but Courtney Alexander, that's his game, to take the ball and shoot it. The first shot he took he missed it very badly, but that's not going to stop him from continuing to let it go.
Early in the year, Tark would have to bench him at times because of his shot selection, but he can make a tough shot look pretty good. Here's Jensen, the kick, Althoff, soft from the right side, and Utah is putting on a passing clinic in the first 3 minutes of this game.
And there's Andre Miller, doesn't get the steal, but steps in and forces the travel. Bob, the game is pretty easy if you make all your shots, and that's what Utah's done so far.
5 out of 5. They've been high percentage shots at that. Little bouncer.
Jensen actually was knocked away from him, so everything going well for the Utes early. Man-to-man defense for the Bulldogs.
I can't think of many games I've seen this year where we've seen a team score 11 points in the first 3 minutes. Miller waiting, taking contact again, and that's the second one he has forced on Courtney Alexander.
And that is, Bob, you mentioned about Miller, how intelligent he was, and he showed you that intelligence the last 2 possessions with those fakes to get Courtney Alexander off his feet and to draw those 2 fouls. Alexander, leading scorer for Fresno, third leading scorer in the WAC. They need to have him in the game.
Well, I was wondering, would defending Andre Miller wear Courtney down? What would he be like in the second half later? Well, we weren't banking on the fact he'd get 2 fouls so early.
Well, it looks like he's going to be pretty fresh in the second half, actually.
He's going to have to sit down for quite a while here soon. Utah keeps it alive on top 12-4. And away from the ball, a Bill Gracie whistle. It'll be on Nate Althoff.
Well, one of the things that the 2 personal fouls on Courtney Alexander does early, Jerry Tarkanian elects to leave him in the game, but Alexander simply has to pull back a little bit on his aggressiveness.
So, Dan, why does he stay in the game at this point? Because they're down by 8, maybe need a basket or 2?
I think because the Utah has started out so well, they can't afford to take their best offensive player out of the game. They just have to rely on him to be smart defensively.
So you think that maybe Chris Herron, Terrence Roberson have to step up for FSU. Here's Herron, great driver. Can he finish? No. Althoff the rebound. 6'11" sophomore averaging 4 boards a game. Here's Harvey, just came in, tries to go coast to coast, and Tony losing the ball.
Rick Majerus really going to try to get some time from Harvey at that point guard spot to give Andre Miller a rest.
He's really a great athlete at 6'5", 188. 9-game suspension because of disciplinary reasons. Oh, great look. Courtney Alexander from Terrence Roberson.
Good pick on the top. Got Alexander free, and good movement without the ball by Courtney Alexander.
12-6 Utah.
Again, Alexander with those 2 fouls needs to be aggressive on defense, but has to be careful.
Jensen working from the left perimeter, trying to get away from Terrence Roberson. Manages to keep it in bounds. Shot clock down to 12. On top, Harvey hits a 3. He's shooting only about 30% beyond the arc, but he hasn't been back in there that long. There's Eli. Not that much of an offensive threat. Puts it on the floor. Kano Metala helping. It's either on him or Althoff. It'll be number 1 on Nate Althoff. Excuse me, number 2 on Nate Althoff.
And Nate Althoff made a mistake that time, Bob. You don't want to go out and guard Eli that far from the basket. Eli just gave him a fake, and Althoff went for it. Althoff's got to hope that Eli's going to shoot it from that far out.
So some early foul trouble for each club. Melvin Eli only a 43% free throw shooter, missing the second, and Althoff just rips the ball away from Larry Abney. 15-7 Utah, first 5 minutes.
Fresno's really picked up the defensive intensity the last couple of possessions.
Harvey again. Yeah, a lot of traffic. Melvin Eli, 8 boards a game, 4 double-doubles on the year with that rebound. Alexander watched by Jensen. Herron, deep three. Jensen, the backdoor rebound.
Now Herron is capable of hitting that deep three, Bob. He's extremely dangerous because he can not only hit that deep three, but he is about as good going to the basket as anybody you'll see in the WAC or in the country.
Utah turnover. 5.5 minutes in. Utes off to the quick start, leading by 8.
How do I look? How do I look? How do I look?
Very good. I must say I'm amazed. A California body and a Swedish heart. Perhaps the world's first perfect car.
A very stylish girl.
The new Volvo S80. Protect the body, ignite the soul.
I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt. So sexy it hurts. And I'm a model, you know what I mean. And I do my little turn on the catwalk.
What is the value of victory? What makes success so sweet? At American General, we help over 12 million people every day live the lives they've imagined. With retirement services, life insurance, consumer loans, and whether they have big dreams or little dreams, the real victory is seeing their dreams come true. American General Financial Group. Live the life you've imagined.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball is brought to you by Volvo. Volvo reminds you to drive safe.
Well, the Utes are showing us why they're almost unbeatable on this floor. Some great passing. They are 6 out of 7 from the field so far. Alex Jensen, 4 for 4.
Bob, you shoot 6 out of 7. It's because you're getting good shots. And usually if you're getting good shots, it's because people are getting you the ball in areas from which it's easy to score. And that pass before, and now this pass, the full length of the court pass to Alex Jensen, and Hanno Medela with just a great entry pass to Jensen. Don't get much easier than that.
Utah averaging 7 points a game, 1 more than that in conference play. A lot of clubs, you'll see their numbers come down when conference play starts. Not this club of Rick Majerus. On the wing, Alexander swinging for Roberson. Herron working hard off the ball. Andre Miller cutting off the passing lane, and there's the turnover. Can they avoid the travel? Harvey can. Gets it off for Phil Cullen, who just checked in. Miller open for 3. Metala over the top, avoids the foul. Terrence Roberson, the Fresno rebound.
Utah does a great job getting back on defense. Fresno really needs to get some easy baskets in the game. It's awfully tough to play against this Utah defense all night long.
And wasn't that the number 1 thing Rick told them at the shoot-around today? Their priority for this game, get back on defense. It'll be a foul on Alex Jensen, his first.
Alex Jensen is a very talented defender for Rick Majerus, and Jensen is capable of guarding people in any of the 5 spots on the court, but he's trying to match up against Courtney Alexander, who's extremely quick and who's extremely aggressive with the ball. That is a tough task for Jensen. He's going to need some help.
It'll be interesting to watch Courtney. The off-the-court problems are behind him. Willie Farley, 6'5" senior swingman, checks in for Tark. He's their best defender and their hardest worker on the floor. But Courtney, this year and next at Fresno, after those 2 honorable mention all-ACC seasons in Charlottesville, Dan Bonner's alma mater. He's got a half dozen early.
Courtney Alexander coming off a 27-point effort against BYU. He is capable of lighting it up. And now Fresno State goes to a zone defense.
1-2-2 look. Backdoor cut. Cullen. A catch, but Eli cuts him off.
It's a 1-2-2 look, but they really play it in coverage as if it's a 1-3-1.
Jensen, the corner. Great ball movement. Alex. Oh, it goes down. How kind was that iron?
The iron, the backboard. Home court advantage.
It touched everything. Alex Jensen with 9. Utah by 9. Eli posting up, now facing. Can't drill it. And there's Dan's point from earlier. Hey, let him take that shot out there. Down court, away from the ball. A whistle from Vern Harris.
It's Eli, and he was called for elbowing against Medela.
Killian checks in for Utah. One of their good shooters, very good defenders. That gives Alex Jensen a rest.
Now Melvin Eli is sporting a new hairstyle this evening, and he told us that since his mother would see that tonight, he had to call her this afternoon and tell her that he had done it.
What do you call that with the headband look?
Well, I don't know. It's not the headband. It's the cornrows there. And he said his mother would kill him.
RV for Andre Miller.
His consolation is it will take her a while to get here from Chicago.
Killian, the miss from the left corner. It'll stay alive for Utah because of Phil Cullen's hard work. Rivalry week continues tomorrow. A Super Tuesday in the Big Ten. Hoosiers and Minnesota. Metala, the miss from the right side as we come back. And Tubby Smith, he takes Saul into Athens to play against his other son, Gigi, with Kentucky and Georgia tomorrow night. Rivalry week continues on ESPN. Bob Carpenter, Dan Bonner at the Huntsman Center in Salt Lake City. Great start for the home team. Herron, losing the handle was Eli. Should have slammed it.
He was trying to slam it.
Miller.
What a pass.
Killian. Short with the 3. Harvey's underneath. He'll dribble out into space.
Boy, what a great move by Miller. What kind of athleticism is that to hang up in the air long enough to make that decision, and then it's a great decision.
Harvey gets it back. He misses his 3. High bouncing rebound for Abney. Here comes Chris Herron.
And Utah immediately gets 4 guys back.
Andre Miller watching Herron, who has not scored yet.
He never left it up.
Takes a little bump. Short. Getting the rebound. Abney. And Miller took it right out of his hands. Oh, look at that for Metala. That's the second time he's got a steal and an assist on the same play. And Tark needs a 20.
There are a lot of people who feel that Andre Miller is the best point guard in the country, and he's showing us why. A great move to slap the ball away. Times his slap perfectly to steal the ball, draws the defense, finds Medela. My goodness. That is just perfect execution, and that's worth another look. Abney trying to go back up, and he never gets the opportunity. Shows you something about the strength of Andre Miller to take the ball away. Nobody picks up Medela, who goes to the open area, relies on Miller to find him, and Miller certainly does find him.
Andre Miller, 2 points, 4 assists, 3 steals already. He's second in the WAC in steals. 6 assists per game, but also look at the rebounding, the extra dimension he brings. He's the all-time #2 assist man here, the all-time #1 steal man, and he's in the top 15 in scoring. What a career. He's already graduated, got his degree last May.
Oh, he almost took it again. Demetrius Porter game nearly had his pocket picked.
That degree, by the way, in sociology and criminology, and reaching around, getting the foul. will be Utah's Jeremy Killian. It'll be his first. So nearly 9 minutes into the ball game, it's the Andre Miller show, just like last Monday night.
Come on out of there, champ. No. Come on out of there now. No.
Man, I ain't going out there to fight this guy, man.
Come on out of there.
Those pay-per-view people, they can just go find another sucker, because I ain't going out there.
Tommy, he's a changed man. He's had counseling.
I ain't going out there, man.
Y'all eat me alive. I ain't going.
6 weeks of training. What, are you kidding me? You got nothing to worry about.
What you mean I ain't got nothing to worry about?
Not going anywhere for a while?
Everybody's waiting. You're hesitating.
They can just find somebody else.
Grab a Snickers, because nothing handles your hunger better.
Come on out of there.
Hungry? Why wait?
You know, I've played in the U.S. and Canada, so I've got friends all over. That's why I use 10-10-2-20. It's only 99 cents up to 20 minutes and just 10 cents a minute after that within the U.S. or to Canada. So when I call my buddy Phelan here in the States, or my brother in Canada, it's just 99 cents all day, every day. With 10-10-2-20, all your calls can be under $1. Hey, little brother, go long. Falls for it every time.
Hey! Hey!
How do I look? How do I look? How do I look?
Very good. Very good. I must say, I'm amazed.
I am a very stylish girl.
The new Volvo S80. My goodness.
A very stylish girl.
Protect the body. Ignite the soul.
Almost 5 minutes since the last Fresno State field goal. Andrea Miller. Andre's mom is in there somewhere. She taught him how to pass, and Rick Majerus is glad she did.
There she is.
Like all great passers, Andre can throw the 3 passes that you want a point guard, but any great passer to make. He can throw in transition and knows when and where to do that, where to deliver the ball. He can draw and kick it in the half court. He can penetrate and pitch out. And thirdly, he can feed a post. He's a very adept post feeder. He's going to make somebody a really happy player at the next level.
4 minutes and 45 seconds since the last Fresno field goal. That's okay with Mrs. Robinson. Andrea having a great time here tonight.
Bob, you want to know how effectively Utah has passed the ball tonight? All you have to do is look at the official stat sheet that they just set on our desk here in front of us. Utah has 8 field goals and they have 9 assists.
How does that possible? Farley the miss. Roberson couldn't get the foul. Andre Miller in traffic, rolls the pass, Sharp to Jensen, back to Miller. Even when he's out of control, he still manages to complete it.
Well, they actually stripped that ball from him, Bob. They actually were stealing it from him, and a good break for the Utes.
Sharp down to Metala.
Oh, nice move.
The scoop. You know, he's got the great outside game, but their coach, Brock Buckhorst, told me he's also got all the inside junk you'd like to have to go with it, and you saw a little bit of it right there.
It's the kind of junk you want. That's a good decision by Metala to stay off Ely outside, but Adam Sharp's got to get closer than that to Courtney Alexander.
I think we're seeing why Courtney stayed in the game after getting a second foul. 3:16 into this game. He has 8 points. Nobody for Fresno has more than 2 beside him. That's a love for Jensen. Right side, Adam Sharp, a combo guard who's a good athlete, and they got it right down to Metala. And how unselfish is this Utah team?
Bob, we've talked about everything else that Miller does, but he weighs more than 200 pounds, and Metala was open because he laid a great screen on the inside.
Metala with Eli, turning, faking. How about that move? Melvin with his first field goal. Did not play because of academics last year. Honorable mention All-American in high school in '97 out of Thornton Township up in the Chicago area. Killian on the dribble all the way. Can't roll it over the front of the iron.
He was worried about the charge. Porter stepped in trying to draw the charge. Killian saw him, pulled up a little short.
Alexander by Killian. Hanging. Offensive foul. No basket. That's his third. They just about have to sit him down now.
One of the problems that players have when they pick up fouls, whether it's 2 or 4, and they're trying to be careful, they can generally be careful on defense, but it's offense where they get themselves into trouble, and Jensen just takes it in. Jerry Tarkanian told his team this morning when we watched their workout, if you're going to penetrate inside, you better jump stop. Don't go flying through the air. Somebody's going to take a charge, and you can see the truth right there.
Willie Farley fouling Andre Miller. So Courtney Alexander sits down with 8 points at the 9:03 mark of the first half. He played better than 7 minutes with 2 fouls before getting the third one.
And again, it's interesting he got that foul, an offensive foul, and the coaching staff warned them about that. Sometimes as a player you wonder what your coaches are thinking about, but they were certainly right about the Utah defense.
Harvey, another 3. Tony Harvey with a half dozen, coming off a 13-point game against San Jose. He had a 14-point game at San Diego earlier. High offensive rebound. Abney, great look. And Terrence Roberson, who can do some damage from the outside, gets his first basket on a backdoor layup.
Roberson did not stand outside and watch that play. He missed the shot, but instead of being a spectator, he cut to the basket, and that cut to the basket is what got him those 2 points.
Utes by 12. Sharp for Jensen. Down on the baseline. Andre Miller improvising this time. Number 2 on Willie Farley.
Utah is doing a great job getting the ball inside. We talked about Miller and his strength. Well, he can catch the ball down low and power it up. Young man listed at 203 pounds at 6'2". He can play inside. He can play outside. If there's any part of his game that he can't do, we haven't seen it tonight.
Demetrius Porter running the point for Fresno. Had a hot streak a couple of weeks ago, but New Mexico held him down in a game at Fresno that the Dogs won. Spot duty 6th then with Chris Herron coming back from the bad ankle. Herron has not been able to work offensively yet. Demetrius knocks one in. He's averaging 7 points a game out there about 20 minutes a night.
Porter is a very, very good shooter. And that was a nice move there to get himself open with the dribble and get the wide open jump shot.
Local Fresno kid out of Washington Union High School. Adam Sharp stopped. Cullen looking for the curling Jensen. One dribble, left-hander. He put it up too far. Andre Miller's in there trying to.
Oh, what a great rebound by Herron.
Here he
They've got a chance for a fast break.
4 on 3. Porter, 4 on 3. And that quickly, a 5-point turnaround for Fresno State.
Bob, Utah did a great job getting back and cutting off the lane in transition, but with that 3-point line, you'd have to get out there too, and there wasn't enough Utes back to do it.
Sharp. Near side, Andre Miller. Right back to him. He's playing like a postman. How about that? Takes his man down low. And Tarkanian wants another 20-second timeout.
Now that is going to be a very tough thing for Fresno State to defend, because if Andre Miller is going to catch the ball inside, you see Porter double team. Well, immediately the ball goes back in. If you elect to double team Miller on the inside, Bob, he's such a great passer. Somebody is going to get a wide open look at the basket, but you need to make the looks a little more difficult than that. Wow. How aggressive does he catch the ball and turn to the basket?
When we saw Rick Majerus mid-November in Maui at the Maui Invitational, they had already had 24 NBA scouts visit their practices because of Hano Metala and number 24, Andre Miller. It's now a full timeout.
Hey, it's me again. Check this out.
Can you feel the heat? It's called playoff pressure, baby. Call 1-800-GET-SPORTS and get more action with NHL Center Ice on DirecTV. You'll pay only $99 and you'll see up to 30 games per week throughout the rest of the $98.99 regular season. Follow your favorites as they skate towards the playoffs. Call 1-800-GET-SPORTS right now. It's NHL Center Ice on DirecTV.
This week, watch the sparks fly.
Mayday, mayday.
I need you to be my confident captain.
In the Letterbox feature presentation of 6 Days, 7 Nights.
Sit down, we gotta get out of here.
It'll take your breath away. Just the way the filmmakers intended. Harrison Ford.
I'm the best pilot you're ever gonna meet.
Anne Heche.
I've flown with you twice, you've crashed half the time.
6 Days, 7 Nights Letterbox, playing through January 31st on DirecTV.
How do I look? How do I look? How do I look?
Very good. I must say, I'm amazed. A California body and a Swedish heart. Perhaps the world's first perfect car.
A very stylish girl.
The new Volvo S80. Protect the body, ignite the soul.
Dan Bonner, interesting thing happens when a coach calls a 20-second timeout and then decides to use the full timeout.
Bob, as we take a look at some Utah numbers right here, very impressive in the early going. The rule is that if you call a 20-second timeout and the officials report it to the scorer's table as a 20-second timeout, and then later you decide you want to stretch it into a full timeout, you're permitted to do that, but you lose your 20 and you lose a full timeout. So trying to stop the Utah run, Fresno State just used 2 timeouts in one particular play. Harvey picks up the foul there.
Yeah, Herron rolling right by him. Tony Harvey with his first. Chris Herron scoreless so far.
And I think that's really been a problem for Fresno State. Herron does so much for the Bulldogs that they really need him to get off offensively, particularly with Corey Alexander on the bench in foul trouble.
One of the big shocks of the year in the WAC, as Andre Miller and Hanno Metala come back in for Utah, was what happened to Fresno in the wake of that great win at home 86-80 3 weeks ago tonight against New Mexico. They went to San Jose State the following Saturday and got killed 91-64. Herron was injured in that game, only played a couple of minutes. The ankle flared up on him, and they just couldn't get anything going offensively.
Bob, I think missing Herron certainly is part of it. The basketball is an emotional game, and after they got that big emotional win against New Mexico, they had a letdown.
Yeah, quite a post-game celebration at Selland Arena that night. Look at Alex Jensen. You better keep battling when he's under there, and that's 11 for the junior out of Centerville, Utah. Herron penetrating, switching to the right hand and banking it in.
Herron has the quickness to get by his guy out on the perimeter, and then the jumping ability and the strength to get the ball up on the board. Fresno spreading the court, giving him some room.
Harvey and Eli adjusted that shot. He might have even had a piece of it.
Well, he blocked it. That's one way to adjust it, is to smack it out of there.
Oh, Herron ducks right through. Almost lost his balance. Here's Jensen for Andre Miller. How about these two guys? Do they know each other?
They have done a great job finding one another early in this game. And Bob, it looked to me like Herron really landed a little oddly as he shot that ball.
Farley, great look from Herron, and suddenly Chris Herron starts to become an offensive factor 3 consecutive times down the floor. Utah with that last fast break, 11 fast break points. Fresno State has had 3. Running down under 5 minutes first half.
Fresno State is an extremely capable team on the offensive end. They've got a lot of firepower, and so even though you have a big lead, you can't ignore them.
Nobody found Demetrius Porter. He's got 3 there. He has 8 off the bench, and it was set up by Willie Farley's defense at the other end. Rick Majerus wants a 20.
Bob, we said you had better find Porter in the transition. Those are 2 pretty easy baskets that he's gotten, running down the court and spotting up behind the 3-point line. Killian trailing Farley through the lane, and Herron does a nice job to find him. Not much pressure on the basketball, and you talk about a lack of pressure on the basketball. Porter in the fast break just gets behind the line and nails it.
14-6 run by Fresno now. Gets them back to within 7 at the 4:42 mark here in the first half.
Bob, this is a Fresno team that averages almost 81 points a game. They have the ability to put points on the board, and even though you get a lead against them, you better not relax because they have the firepower to come right back in the game.
Their numbers in the WAC down just a little, 75 a game. Metala, and he had Eli moving. It'll be a blocking foul on Melvin Eli, his second.
That is a good decision by Metala to attack Eli.
So Courtney Alexander on the bench with 3. Now you've got 2 on their big guy.
Well, you bring in, for Courtney Alexander, you don't like him to be on the bench, and he's very pensive looking over there on the bench, but you can at least bring in a Demetrius Porter who can score pretty effectively. If you have to sit Eli down on the bench, you've got nobody with any size at all to replace him, so he has to stay in the game.
That's the first Utah free throw not shot by Andre Miller. Andre 3 for 5. Hano Metala, he's their best free throw guy, 87% coming in. All WAC second teamer last year. Made the all-tournament team at the West Regional when he and Andre Miller complimented Doliak and Drew Hansen so well.
Well, you think about not only Doliak and Drew Hansen, but the 3 kids, Carlisle and Caton and Johnson, who have left for Mormon missions. And this is a team, this Utah team, that really lost a lot of firepower, a lot of players.
Eli, the fall away. Jensen kept alive. Roberson scores because of Willie Farley. Willie Farley coming up big here in the last couple of minutes. We told you he's their best defender, hardest worker. We saw it at this end. We saw the work at the other end.
And Utah not really doing a very good job blocking out on the defensive boards.
Miller fake, had Heron sliding. He hangs and scores.
Boy, he's good going to the basket.
Well, Dan, he looks like he can score in this ball game at least almost whenever he wants to.
Anytime he gets the notion, huh?
40-31 Utah. High scoring first half here at the Huntsman Center. The place is just about full tonight, seating 15,000. Here's Roberson taking his game inside tonight, and Terrence with a half dozen. He's been in a bad three-point shooting slump this year, so he's going inside a little bit. Off the steal, Heron all the way. Nobody stopped him. And back to within 5 of the Bulldogs of Fresno.
Bob, and it's a spark that Chris Heron has applied.
That's a foul on Demetrius Porter. Little reach and a hack on Killian.
First personal team foul, number 8.
Number 18 foul on Fresno. Bobby Harvey will check back in for the shooter, so he'll wait.
And that's really a foul that if you're Jerry Tarkanian, you accept that, because that's a foul that's caused by aggressiveness. But more than aggressiveness, it's a foul caused by trying to put pressure on the basketball. That's something that Fresno did not do early in the game, and that's why Utah was getting some easy looks at the basket.
Roberson the rebound off the Jeremy Killian miss. And the Bulldogs a chance to get back to within 3, maybe 2 here. Eli well off with that 2. I'm not sure that's the shot they were looking for.
I'm sure it is not. Eli has been able to operate effectively when he's had the ball down inside and had a little room.
Miller to Jensen. Ball hit the back of the iron and wouldn't go down for Alex. Heron, quick transition. Roberson, Porter for 3. Oh, it came close to having a 2-point game right there.
That's his first miss from beyond the arc.
Sharp from Miller. Jensen the rebound.
And I believe that ball is going to go to Fresno State. No, their official rules that that's a simultaneous possession.
Yeah, not a sole possession type takeaway.
And so Utah with the possession arrow. The Fresno State coaches saying, well, didn't they have possession of the ball? If Utah has possession of the ball and it's a tie-up, then Fresno gets it.
2:13 before halftime. He stops, he fakes, he hangs. Andre Miller scores.
Conventional wisdom dictates that in winter months, we should be showing Jimmy driving through snow. But we'd rather show you what makes Jimmy a true truck. Its backbone, a full-length steel frame. So Jimmy can take on the road, yet provide comfort in any weather. Buy a 1999 Jimmy and get this solid deal. $1,000 cash back for 2.9% APR financing. Sorry, we couldn't resist. Jimmy by GMC. Backbone standard.
Will someone cue the music?
Louie, what are you doing?
My family has been in this swamp
Louie.
for over 5,000 years.
Louie, I'm begging you.
During Prohibition, when the swamp ran dry, my family pulled together. My great-grandfather, the Worm Master.
Louie, that's enough.
And my grandfather, the Fly Master.
That's enough, Louie.
Gathered up the flies and the worms to be saved, and handed down that brilliant tradition to me, Louie.
Oh, Louie, you're begging for a pink slip.
This was serious. Get Bill.
What's his name?
Jimmy.
Jimmy, we can do your taxes for you. Who are you? Bill from H&R Block.
It's just that I thought I'd try my own taxes.
Jimmy, there have been over 800 tax law changes. Why expect so much of yourself?
Here's my receipt.
Okay, whoop.
H&R Block. We know. Do you?
We've got a pretty good budding rivalry here in the WAC, even though these two teams haven't met for the last 3 years. A dandy in Salt Lake tonight. And coming up Wednesday, rivalry week continues. The Johnnies in Syracuse. St. John's gave Duke all they wanted over the weekend. And then the big one, they're just miles apart. Carolina and Duke at 9 Eastern Wednesday night. Okalaja, Elton Brand, Dredge in Langdon. What names, what tradition? It's the Carolina Blue and the Blue of Duke. Wednesday night on ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com. It's part of the Go Network. Go.com. Bob Carpenter, Dan Bonner, Huntsman Center, Salt Lake City. And a 15-point Utah lead shaved down to 5 now. 2:13 before halftime. Utes curling all over looking for the pass. Finally on top, Adam Sharp from Andre Miller.
And that's really great pressure on the ball by Porter. It's tough to make passes when you've got somebody all over you. You got to stay a little bit further off Miller. Porter, recognizing that Sharp's unlikely to go by him, really does a nice job getting right up in his face.
Shot clock down to 12 for only the second time in this first half. Now it's down to 8. Mental,
what a move.
Turning, yes! Wow, a dozen for Hano.
And nobody's finding Porter.
Finally, Harvey did.
Well, I thought Rick Majerus was going to go out there and guard it. Porter would have been able to squeeze that one off, but he didn't catch it cleanly.
Now, I don't know if Demetrius could go around Rick, but he could certainly go over it. Ball tipped by Medela. It'll stay with Fresno State. 19 on the shot clock.
Now, Medela's not very happy about that, but he's got to be happy about this. What a great job.
And they're going to reverse the call. Officials got together. Scott Thorley right in front of us telling Jerry Tarkanian, Medela never touched the ball. We overrule.
Well, Jerry Tarkanian is not happy with the way things are going here.
Little give and go. Andre Miller making a cut off the ball, and Harvey tried to find him. Jerry Tarkanian still complaining about the call at the other end.
I think he's still complaining about that held ball call, actually.
Andre Miller will throw it in. Looking. 5 seconds.
Well, they were close to a 5-second violation the last time. Fresno State doing a nice job defending against the inbound options that Utah was trying to execute.
Running down to the 1-minute mark in what's been a very entertaining, high-scoring first half in Salt Lake City. They switch. It's now Sharp on Heron.
They just switched the screen out at the top. I don't think that's the matchup that Rick Majerus wants to have.
Abney taken away by Adam Sharp.
And then again, maybe he's fine with it.
Nice little reach in by the redshirt freshman. Local kid out of Alta High School here in Salt Lake City.
Boy, Abney is really pushing against Medela.
He'll skip it over the top for Sharp. Takes a bump from Porter. A steal by Farley. Sharp on the floor. Keeps it for the Utes. Jensen. Miller. Contact. And a blocking foul on Fresno. I wonder if Larry Beal's feeling the contact in the studio like we are here in Utah. The Courtyard by Marriott halftime report coming up next with Larry. He'll have a look back at #1 UConn surviving by 7 at Georgetown tonight. TCU without Lee Nalen, not able to get it done at Tulsa, and news around the NBA coming up at halftime.
Bob, that foul was on Herron, and Andre Miller makes him pay for it.
Pretty tough for TCU without Lee Nalen to go against Michael Ruffin and the Golden Hurricane tonight. An official working this game tonight, Bill Gracie, is the man who tossed Nalen out of that game over the weekend that had him suspended tonight.
And Rick Majerus up telling Adam Sharp to get on Porter and stay with him.
Down to 15 seconds we go. That's Gracie, upper right of your screen.
5-second violation.
The whistle.
That is an outstanding job by Sharp to simply stay within the 6-foot guarding distance, and Demetrius Porter didn't realize it. You got to drive that guy off and break that 6-foot distance.
Another drop by Fresno. 3 minutes without a basket. Andre Miller under 10 seconds. High pick coming from Medela. Andre kicks it. Harvey for 3.
That's 3 for Harvey in the first half.
Execution plus by Utah in the first 20 minutes of play. They get the turnover. Andre Miller with a dozen. Medela with a dozen. Harvey with 9. And Larry Beal, the balanced Utes by 11 at halftime.
All right, thanks, Bob Carpenter. And as you watch this game in the second half, it really is an interesting contrast of styles. Fresno State has so many guys that can do spectacular things like Roberson and Courtney Alexander, and they could go wow, but Utah really has a nice blend, a nice chemistry, and the team play is just beautiful for Coach Rick Majerus. They know how to get it done with their style. Nice battle of styles. The Courtyard by Marriott halftime report is coming up. Rip Hamilton and #1 UConn trying to stay unbeaten. Could they get it done?
ESPN's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball is brought to you by Yukon Denali, a full-size luxury SUV with the power of a real truck.
How does a fire ant get through the streets of Manhattan?
Taxi!
The Gateway Fire Ant Portable with built-in DVD. It does what you'd want your desktop computer to do in traffic.
The more you do something, the better you get. State Farm's been settling car insurance claims for over 75 years, millions of them. We've come up with a system that works so well that more drivers trust State Farm than all those cut-rate insurance companies put together. You're buying into that promise that we're going to be there to take care of you when a claim happens. Every day, State Farm handles over 30,000 claims. It's a practice makes perfect thing. That's the reason the competition doesn't stand a chance.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Secret shortcuts, back roads, winding trails. Thankfully, a truck that appreciates your sense of direction. A truck with 4 available suspensions that handles even when fully loaded. The GMC Sonoma, created with nearly 100 years of GMC commitment and a devotion to true truck capability.
Get your hands on a 99 Sonoma and drive away with $750 cash back or 0.9% APR financing. The Sonoma from GMC.
11 blue-clad warriors stand on the brink of battle and ask themselves, where is the other team?
Reuven, on a Sunday afternoon.
Nothing helps you kick back at the end of the day like Tostitos chips and salsa.
I can't imagine anything.
We do suggest you actually wait till the end of the day.
He's a fine dancer, too.
Dig in, kick back with new Hint of Lime Tostitos.
How do fire ants travel across the country? They change planes in Chicago. The Gateway Fire Ant Portable with built-in DVD. Airports will be swarming with them.
This halftime report is presented by Courtyard by Marriott, the hotel designed by business travelers.
Welcome to the Courtyard by Marriott halftime report. Top-ranked UConn learning all about what it means to be #1 in the nation as they came in tonight facing a Georgetown team going for the upset. And For UConn these days, you've got the bullseye on your back. Everybody wants to be the team that takes down numero uno, and this would be a fight. Early second half, 4-point game. Richard Hamilton going up, and Ruben Boomshay says boom and smacks it away. Anthony Perry misses the three. Up the court, Jay Bosco with authority. UConn by 4. Khalid El Amin didn't have a big point production game. 7 points, 5 assists, but stretching the UConn lead to 8. And moments later, he knows how to make the clutch play. The steal is Kevin Braswell didn't have enough steam on it. Then he pulls up lame, and there was concern over El Amin. How bad an injury was this? Well, they ice him down, the hamstring pull, and he comes back in the game. Under a minute left. Anthony Perry over to Nat Burton. Burton with 19 points. G-Town down 4. Just 10 seconds left, and Burton trying the three. Looked like he was fouled. No call was made, and Rip Hamilton and the Huskies do escape 78-71. 18-0 now. UConn's best start in school history. Richard Hamilton, 27 points and 8 rebounds. Burton had 19 points, 6 boards for the Hoyas. The Huskies remain perfect, but can they survive running the 3-team gauntlet that awaits them? At number 10, St. John's on Saturday, then they're home for Syracuse, and at third-ranked Stanford. UConn, by the way, lost to the Red Storm by 2 at the Garden last year. Other scores to pass along as Rutgers beats Lafayette by 20. Dante Jones, 20 points, 7 boards. Lafayette had 20 turnovers in the game. And Duquesne just can't get a win. They've lost 10 straight, 13 of 14. Montego Cummings with 19 points for victorious Pittsburgh. Bounce to the Big 12, Texas and Oklahoma. Gabe Benecki back from the suspension after the punching incident against Kansas. First half, Oklahoma down 3. Michael Johnson with a miss. Oh, it's the noggin knocker off the face of Chris Mim of Texas. The basket counts. Rick Barnes is saying, how did that happen? Second half, Texas up 7. Gabe Benecki on the inside. Gets the little fake to go. The reverse, 57-48. Sooners coming back. Michael Johnson brings the Sooners within 3. Next possession for Texas. 23 seconds left. Chris Black. He's called for steps, and Barnes.
1 second rounding makes ordinary cell phones seem ordinary. And now for a limited time, you can get Nextel phones starting at $99 each.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball is brought to you by Courtyard by Marriott, the hotel designed by business travelers.
The running Utes of Utah leading by as many as 15 in the first half. Fresno making the run to get it back to 5, and then a late rush, and the home team by 11. They've won 30 straight on this floor. And Dan Bonner, it's easy to see why when they get some of the easy baskets they got early in this ball game.
Bob, you don't shoot 60% as Utah did in the first half without getting some easy baskets. And I'll tell you what, you don't get easy baskets unless you're doing a pretty good job passing the ball. And Utah basically put on a passing clinic in the first half. Sharp to Medla on that occasion. Medla turning it around and getting it inside to Jensen on that occasion. Utah has done a great job. Their baskets, one of the ways you can tell whether they're easy baskets or not is how many assists do you have. And you notice Utah 14 assists in 18 field goals. Fresno State has 14 field goals but only 3 assists.
Utah a blistering 60% on 18 of 30 shooting. They were 4 of 8 from three-point range. And the points off turnovers, a 2-to-1 proposition. Courtney Alexander is in the ball game. He has 8. He had 16 at halftime on Saturday on his way to 31 at BYU, but he's playing with 3 fouls this time. Top of your screen, he's got Alex Jensen watching him. Eli, nice move off the ball. He just failed to finish.
That's good defense by Medla. He came over and bothered that shot. Oh, nobody's watching him.
Where were you? Melvin Eli. Paolo Medla got right behind him. Easy basket. And maybe Melvin hanging the head a little bit after the miss at the other end.
Bob, I think with the key to that whole thing was Utah pushing the ball up into the offensive zone very quickly. Fresno State a little bit confused about who was guarding whom.
Alexander, how sweet is this guy shooting the basketball? Falling away, totally under control. He's into double figures.
Courtney Alexander, we said in the first half, is a guy who can put a lot of points up on the board.
And Jeremy Killian doesn't score that many. That's his first basket of the night. He had an assist and a block shot in 14 minutes of the first half. And Jeremy Tarkanian uses his last 22nd timeout.
Utah in the first half was characterized by getting easy baskets, and Andre Miller just brings the ball very quickly into the offensive zone. Fresno State a little confused about who was supposed to be guarding Medela, and now Killian driving to the basket, and this is the play that caused Jerry Tarkanian to call the 22nd timeout. There's just no defensive intensity for Fresno State as they start the second half, and they can't afford to get down by 15 and spend the whole second half trying to catch up.
Now keep this in mind. If they're trying to come back later, they've already used a full timeout, and they are out of 22nd timeouts.
You're right, Bob. They've only got one timeout left. Andre Miller, what a ball game he's having, but that's become a normal ball game for him.
Yes, it has. I think he likes these Monday night late games. Heron, left-hander, off the hands of Melvin Eli. And a couple of empty trips for Fresno State. They had all that momentum with about a minute to go before halftime. Tark's going to bite on the towel now as his team's down by 13. Oh, out of nowhere, a block by Willie Farmer. Looked like Jensen had it easy, too. Now he babies the shot a little bit. Didn't really look like Alex stroked that one. Heron for Alexander. The three well short. Long rebound for Chris Heron.
You got to, when somebody shoots a three-point shot, Bob, you've got to anticipate that long rebound and really hustle after it, and Utah was all around the backboard.
Alexander hangs, high arc, off to the right. Here comes Andre Miller. He's got Medela. Hano waving for the ball. Andre put it on his palm, but he couldn't bring it down.
Bob, you're absolutely right. He put the ball right where Medela wanted it. Medela just couldn't handle the pass.
Maybe he was surprised that Andre was able to find him.
Man-to-man defense for Utah.
They're posting up Alexander. Farley with a long three. 5 on the night for Willie, who had a couple of rebounds and a steal in 12 quality minutes in the first half. Back to a 10-point game.
Again, Fresno State has some guys that can light it up offensively. They've got some guys who can shoot the three, so this ball game is far from over.
Medela on top. Jensen. The swing for Killian. Althoff posting up in there.
Well, Althoff was open, but he didn't get the ball when he was open.
Jensen, the bounce entry for Miller. Took a shove from behind by Chris Heron. And for Chris, that'll be his second.
One of the things that happens is Althoff gets open inside. Althoff was open inside, but they didn't get him the ball when he was open.
Andre Miller to throw it in. Finding Medela. Right back to him. And another deflection by Heron. Not a foul. Killian. Oh, a deuce for Jeremy. He comes down the floor twice here out of halftime and scores. Utah 3 minutes out of halftime, leading by 12 now. And how hot is Willie Farley? 8 for him. This guy can score. He's had 13 2 consecutive games against UTEP and Saturday at BYU. We got a whistle down low where Alexander and Killian are going at it.
Now we've got a foul on Medela on an illegal screen. And Bob, let's keep in mind the way this second half has started, you get the idea that Utah has been dominant, but as you look at the scoreboard, Fresno State has actually chopped 2 points off the lead because they're scoring threes, trading threes for 2, and that's one way to catch up.
Heron surveying things from the point. Roberson, he's a good outside shooter. He's got the three. Tark told him 3 weeks ago, kid, you're going to lead the WAC in three-point shooting. Well, he's still under 30%, but he's capable any time of knocking one down.
Well, he's got a lot of three-point attempts, so it's not for lack of trying.
Althoff, nice move to the iron. The big fella went up strong. 54-46 Utah. High pick Eli. Althoff on the switch. Open Eli. And he flushes it. And a foul by Althoff.
Bob, that is the first time tonight that Fresno State has been able to take advantage of the fact that Utah has double-teamed that high screen. Rick Majerus' troops have done a nice job thus far this evening disrupting that pass. But on that particular occasion, they found Eli inside, and he was able to come through with the dunk. Althoff double-teamed and not able to get back quickly. Eli is open and gets it in the basket despite the foul.
Wayne Long on the free throw. Killian the rebound. Dogs settle for 2, but they're down by just 6, and that's 5 off the halftime deficit in less than 5 minutes.
And in a half that started very inauspiciously for them.
Althoff out there on the perimeter. Little give off for Jensen, trying to keep his pivot foot. Harvey. Metala. No. Got it again. And he's fouled. Hanno Metala, known more as a finesse guy, did some hard board work that time.
Well, interestingly enough, Utah, which is an outstanding rebounding team, and Fresno State, which is not a very good rebounding team, they were even in rebounds in the first half. Harvey had three-point baskets in the first half. Metala misses the tip, and this time he decides, okay, I'm not going to tip it. He pulls it down strongly and tries to take it back up in his foul.
Hanno with 15 on the night, coming off a 20-point game with 8 boards against San Jose State. His best game in WAC play so far, 22 with 9 boards in the opener against BYU. He's got them both. 16 for the junior out of Helsinki. 5 minutes out of halftime. Utes by 8.
It is a symbol that stands for freedom, for power, for the spirit of adventure, for discovery, for strength, for passion. It is a symbol grounded in the belief that for ideas to take flight, they must have wings. It is an enduring reminder that while all cars appeal to our practical side, the great ones appeal to our more passionate side. It is the symbol for great cars. Chrysler, engineered to be great cars.
Life is but a dream.
Big Monday presented by Bud Light. We're wrapping it up in the WAC tonight, and who knows what's going to happen. Long way to go in this one. On the Deuce Wednesday, some ACC for you. Number 4 Maryland with Steve Francis at 16 a game. Terrence Morris also around that. And then Florida State, Ron Hale and Terrell Baker. Steve Robinson's offensive threat, 8 Eastern, Wednesday on the Deuce. Log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.
Bob, the shooting, particularly three-point shooting here in the second half, has been a big factor. Fresno State, you notice, only 2 of 7 in the first half, but they're 3 of 4 in the second half. Utah has yet to score a three-point basket in the second half, and Fresno has ridden that three-point shooting right back into this game.
Eli from Roberson, turning to face against Althoff to the baseline. Wow. Melvin Eli showing us some inside offensive game tonight. 56-50.
Eli has been very effective when he has been able to get the ball close to the basket.
Harvey, another three. In the first half, he was 3 for 4 out there. That's a dozen for the junior out of Carson, California. Utes back on top by 9. I was about to note that Andre Miller has not scored in the second half.
Eli again working against Althoff down inside. That's obviously a matchup that Fresno thinks they can exploit.
Althoff got the stop that time. Utah showing double team and then Miller sloughing off. Shot clock at 6. Farley. No.
Oh, what a rebound.
Miller took it right away from Chris Herron. What a great rebounder he is for a guard. His third of the game. That was Alexander closing on Harvey to avoid the 3. Althoff looking for Jensen. Curling. Miller. Backdoor. Yeah.
Bob, you mentioned Miller hadn't scored. I guess he heard you. But again, great passing by Utah.
And listen to the Huntsman Center get back into it. Herron for 3. What a big shot when you're on the road.
And that's really one way to get the crowd quieted down. Herron does a great job. Sets the screen, then steps back off the screen for the open 3.
And that's something Utah practiced against today. They couldn't stop it. Jensen up top the flush. And it's the middle of January. We got guys making plays all over the place here. This feels like a late February conference game in the WAC. Andre Miller the steal. He's got 3 guys to pass it to.
Bob, he crawled along the floor to control that ball. What great hustle.
Alexander, he can't shut the crowd down. Here comes Andre Miller. Jensen. The tip. Harvey too hard. They had 2 guys on the iron.
Harvey was going to kill somebody in the front row there with that tip.
Majerus has to love this sequence. That shot blocked. Miller blocking the shot of Herron.
Well, that man doesn't love what's going on. Andre Miller just taking over the game.
Jensen, a fake. Medela. And a foul down deep on Willie Farley. Just when Fresno is about to come back even, the Utes turn it up a notch, and the crowd goes wild. If you're staying up late, we've got some noise for you in Utah. A 9-3 Ute run. Rick Majerus running Utes. Well, sometimes you got to crawl before you can run. Miller getting it done. Hano, the finish.
State Farm presents Rules of the Game.
Technical fouls can be called on players, coaches, and bench personnel. When a technical foul is called, how many free throws are awarded? And who is required to shoot them?
As a child, she not only played with the big boys, she usually beat them at their own game. And from the golf course to the tennis court, the diving board, to collegiate track and field, Babe Didrikson-Zaharias became the world's greatest woman athlete. She opened the doors and leveled the playing field by showing us it's not always the best man who wins. State Farm is proud to be a major sponsor of women's sports, yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
When a technical foul is called, any player on the opposite team, including a player on the bench, can shoot the 2 free throws that are awarded. Possession of the ball is also part of the penalty.
Rules of the Game has been brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
What's your idea of the perfect minivan? Is it the most luxurious? One with a leather-trimmed and preferred suede interior, heated front seats, and dual zone temperature control? Or is it America's lowest-priced minivan that still includes features like easy-out roller seats and air conditioning? There's only one place to choose from the complete selection of award-winning minivans. your Chrysler and Plymouth dealer. Now get $1,000 cash allowance or 1.9% APR on Chrysler and Plymouth minivans.
Andre Miller, shark killer. Well, he's got him bleeding a little bit right now. We'll see if they can close the deal. But what a sequence that was for Andre and the Utes.
Andre Miller does a great job in so many facets of the game. The rebound, now the steal, and the amazing thing about this, he can't control the ball, but he crawls along until he does. That's one of the best plays I've seen all year. Just a guy purely hustling after the basketball.
14 points, 4 rebounds, 8 dishes, 5 swipes. He's getting it all done. He almost had a quadruple double in our ball game in Honolulu last Monday night.
He's also got a block shot. Don't forget that.
You know, I'm getting used to watching this guy every Monday. We get to see him in Albuquerque. Next week, it'll be the Utes and the Lobos. Big Monday. And Dave Bliss has Andre Miller on his mind right about now. First appearance of the night for Randy Holcomb. He gets the foul. Holcomb, a 6'8" sophomore out of Chicago, who's an explosive athlete, trying to get into the flow of this one. Backdoor cut. Sharp couldn't hit it, and then Phil Cullen fumbled the follow rebound. Demetrius Porter, number 5, back in there for Fresno. He had a good shooting first half.
That was an absolutely outstanding pass once again by Andre Miller. Man-to-man for Utah.
Holcomb on top for Farley. Willie's had a hot hand. Can't rim that one home. Hano Metala with the Utah rebound. So the Utes by a dozen. Just over a minute away from the halfway point in the second half. Utah 4-0 in the WAC in the Pacific Division. Right behind them, Fresno at 3-1, and a bit of a shove there by Larry Abney, his first foul.
Bob, we had a play before where we talked about Althoff being open inside and not receiving the ball when he was open. That time, as soon as Cullen flashed open, Metala got him the ball, and that's what caused the foul.
Yeah, the defender was late. And Harvey's got another 3. 15 for Tony Harvey. Rick Majerus says he's a very gifted athlete, and he can't wait for him to become a big part of this offense. Tonight it's happening. Way short. Randy Holcomb. Metala for Sharp. It looked to me like it was maybe a shot, maybe an alley-oop. And it was rejected by Randy Holcomb at 6'8".
Well, what it was definitely a slip. Sharp was not able to control the basketball. He's fumbling it, and now he's worried about walking, and he throws it up on the board, and Holcomb throws it right back at him.
Larry Abney gets a Fresno breather here as they just checked Melvin Eli back in.
We got too many guys on the court. Utah doesn't need to play with 6. They've done quite well with 5 tonight.
Yeah, but a lot of coaches in this league, Dan, would tell you when you play Rick, it's almost like he has 6 defending. At the offensive end, 5 only. Miller for Harvey. Close by Roberson. Oh, look at that. Off the glass. 17 for Tony Harvey, his season high.
Well, I'm telling you what, if they can get that kind of offensive production on a consistent basis from Harvey.
Roberson missing. Holcomb the rebound for Fresno.
Bob, as you look at this Fresno offense, it's really turned into a lot of one-on-one. Holcomb scores that time, but not too many passes right at the moment. Fresno getting the ball down the court, and it's first guy down shoots.
10 minutes to go. Tart down by 15. He desperately wants this game tonight. It would really give them the upper hand in the Pacific Division race because Utah has to go to Fresno eventually. Miller for Harvey. A lot of scrumming off the basketball right now. Miller squares up. And there you just saw maybe the weakest link in his game, the spot-up outside shot.
Bobby's not an outstanding three-point shooter, and you're right, that is the weakest part of his game.
Roberson, baseline, turns in the middle. Yes, and a foul. Terrence Roberson into double figures.
And Althoff commits that foul. That's number 4. Roberson at 6'6". Pretty quick out on the perimeter. Althoff has to try to pick him up because Harvey doesn't get through the screen, and Roberson just attacks him. And what Roberson does very effectively right there is he gets his body up against Althoff and spins off to draw the foul.
Terrence Roberson at the line. Shooting one.
3-point play for Terrence Roberson. 12 for him.
Bob, if you're Utah and you're going to get back in the game, it has to start on the defensive end of the court. You've got to get some defensive stops, prevent Utah from getting the easy looks that they have gotten for the most part in this second half.
Mendel thinking about a backdoor cut.
That's
now
good.
Receives it on top.
Excellent defense by Porter. The more pressure you can put on the ball, the harder it is to find the open guy.
By the way, that foul a moment ago, number 4 on Nate Althoff. Sharp can't hit from the corner. Terrence Roberson way upstairs to pull that one down.
Now you better get somebody on Roberson because he can take it down and shoot it from there.
Holcomb, double dribble, palming the ball, says the official. Vern Harris on the baseline.
Well, the ball came to rest, and then he started to dribble again, and you're not allowed to do that.
Miller, they're sleeping back there. And a block by Demetrius Porter. Well, the alarm clock went off just in time. Now Miller steals it. Out-racing Eli. The dish. The slam. Harvey. Tonight, he has stolen the ball and assisted on the same play. Roberson for 3. Air ball. Here comes Utah. We're catching our breath, folks. We have seen some great sequences in this game. Miller Jensen and a rejection by Randy Holcomb. Look at Alex Jensen get the ball back for Utah. He's not going to make the 3, is he?
He deserves it. What a great play.
He should get the steal, the assist, and the basket. And the Utes lead by 17. Courtney Alexander's got to step up for Fresno here. Leaner draws the foul on Jensen.
Courtney Alexander's a guy who does a great job creating his own shot. And he certainly got it on that particular occasion, driving into the teeth of the defense.
17 right now matches Utah's biggest lead. So it's time for some of this Fresno firepower to step up. They've got to make up 2 points a minute plus. Courtney Alexander with 11.
Bob, he scored 8 of the first 11 Fresno State points in this game, and after he went out with the 3 fouls, he had 8 points, and since he has come back in, that's only his 3rd point. So Utah has done a nice job defending Courtney Alexander since his re-entry into the game in the second half.
Andre Miller, a breather. If you're wondering how much he plays, Andre Miller averages over 30 minutes a game. Alexander with a dozen. 7:08 to go. Andre, how much can you give us tonight? He just keeps coming at you. Andre Miller, 14 points, a double-double tonight.
This month, we've got a great way to beat the cold. The hottest movies and hottest men playing on DirecTV. Harrison Ford discovers adventure and romance.
Go, go, go! We may be old, but we're sturdy.
6 days, 7 nights. Eddie Murphy answers the call of the wild.
Hey, honey!
Who's this?
Animals, that is. Dr. Dolittle. Liam Neeson in one of the greatest stories of all time.
I am Jean Valjean.
Les Miserables. Robert Redford helps a troubled woman find love.
I never expected to feel this way again.
The Horse Whisperer. Samuel L. Jackson's an honest cop fighting to clear his name.
I'm not going to jail.
The Negotiator. Johnny Depp is on the ultimate road trip.
All right, now I've got to go.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Antonio Banderas will sweep you off your feet.
Did you miss me?
The Mask of Zorro. Ray Liotta, a cop on a case where nothing makes sense. Phoenix. The hottest men in the hottest movies are sure to light your fire all month long on DirecTV.
So sexy, it hurts. And I'm a model
We've seen UConn on the road tonight survive by 7 at Georgetown. Texas survived by 4 at Oklahoma. It's going to be tough for Fresno to survive here in Salt Lake City.
Particularly with a wild sequence like this. Now, Andre Miller is going to show you some very quick hands right there. Now he's going to show you speed getting down the court and then uses his strength to screen off Eli and makes the great pass to Harvey. Harvey's got 19 points. Miller now has 10 assists.
Andre could have scored on that play, knew where the trailer was, and didn't you love to see the guard leaning into the big guy and shoving him out of the way.
Keep in mind, Miller weighs over 200 pounds, and you can tell just by looking at him that's a very well-distributed 200 pounds. There's no fat there. He uses that strength.
Running down to the 7-minute mark. Utah trying to go 5-0 in the last. Sharp stepping through the double team. Oh, he had to step through twice, really. Left it away by Holcomb.
And that's actually a break for Utah because that ball was going out of bounds until Holcomb hit it.
Yeah, Alex Jensen had made his cut. There's no way he could have backtracked to grab that ball. Jensen, back door. Nobody there.
And another assist for Miller.
That's the way you run it during the shoot-around when there are no defenders on the floor.
Or you're running it against your managers. There's a foul on Sharp.
Let's see how Jensen got open.
Well, he gets open because nobody's paying any attention to him. The referee hands the ball to Miller, and Jensen just cuts down the lane. The guys from Fresno falling asleep.
77-60 Utah. Abney, the entry. Alexander down low. Eli and a couple of Utes off the floor. Melvin Eli with 9 on the night.
And now Fresno going to try to get some pressure, and Andre Miller is a pretty difficult guy to pressure effectively. You can knock him down, but it's hard to take the ball from him.
Chris Herron with his 3rd foul of the game. Team foul 6 on Fresno, so no free throw shooting yet.
Miller actually lost his balance a little bit, and Herron ran into him, helped him the rest of the way. But for Fresno State, it's a matter of really turning up the defensive intensity now. Watch for them to double team any opportunity they get.
Sharp looking for Jensen. Abney fronting him. Alex comes to the perimeter to receive the pass. Medela flashes out, looking at Eli. Killian, baseline left. Miller, they're making it look easy. That's motion offense at its best.
Now Medela is 6'10" and weighs 240 pounds. I would think he would be a hard guy to lose in there.
Farley for Eli. Medela on his hip. The hook. He's got the touch. Melvin into double figures with 11. He averages 12.
Boy, Eli's showing you some offensive skills, Bob. Really is a nice touch around the basket. Has some enough strength to get open in there.
Well, 3 weeks ago tonight, he had 18 at home against New Mexico. He's a capable scorer. Killian off the glass. It's a charge.
Killian really had a tough first half as Fresno State just wore him out on some cuts to the basket, and he's been very aggressive offensively in the second half. Abney in the game just stands in there, takes the contact, gets that turnover.
Adam Sharp will leave. Tony Harvey is back. Harvey with a big night, a career high 19. Adam Sharp, a good spot duty player, redshirt freshman, former Utah Player of the Year. And there's Tony's night.
Abney comes out of the game after drawing that charge, and Roberson back in. Fresno really looking for offense right now. There's a guy who can give it to him.
Courtney Alexander with 15. That's about as quick a catch and shoot release as you'll ever see. They're only down by 12.
Bob, we're back to a 12-point game. As well as Utah's played, you get the idea that they're up by about 20, but they're still in this ball game.
3 times they've led by 17. Miller back from Harvey, looking at the rim. 3 is long. Rebound Eli. They could cut it to double figures. Or under. Alexander down to 9.
Don't go away yet.
I don't know why anybody would. Rick wants a 20.
Bob, we've got some guys out on the court who are really tired. Andre Miller looked tired when he was coming up the court and signaled that 20. And Melvin Eli trying to catch his breath. This is a great pass by Heron to get the ball up court quickly. And Courtney Alexander's very nearly on the bench when he shoots that one. That young man has unlimited range.
And while we have a minute, both Rick Majerus and Jerry Tarkanian asked us to say hello to Harold Pump, waging a courageous battle in the hospital with cancer. He's the son of David and Dana Pump. They're good friends of both the Tarkanians and the Majerus family, and our very best to Harold Pump on behalf of both coaches here tonight. Bob Carpenter, Dan Bonner, the WAC at its best tonight with Fresno State at Utah, top two teams in the Pacific Division. Andre Miller, baseline right. The kick, Killian, the three. They've got the answer every time, it seems.
And every time it seems that Andre Miller is part of the answer. Did a great job drawing defenders. Killian was wide open from three.
Alexander off to the left. Andre Miller, the rebound.
I think Jensen got his hand on the ball as Alexander was going up.
Under 4 minutes remaining. Utah with that last make has its dozen lead back. Tough pass. Hano with quick hands, able to get all the way down there from 6'10". Not this time. Abney leaves it for Roberson. One-on-one with Jensen. Looks like a foul before the shot.
It's actually not a bad foul by Jensen because Roberson was going right by. That's the 7th team foul, so Roberson will have the opportunity from the free throw line.
Adam Sharp coming back for Utah. Jeremy Killian, who hit that huge three a moment ago, gets a breather. All 7 of his points here in the second half.
A lot of minutes for Adam Sharp tonight. Many more than usual.
Roberson.
And obviously it's very significant for Roberson to hit free throws, for the entire Fresno State team to hit free throws. When you're behind, you like to score when the clock is stopped, and if he hits this one, it's back to a 10-point game.
Terrence now 22 points away from 1,000 in his career. Perfect touch both times. He's got 14 tonight. 82-72 with 3.5 minutes to go. Andre Miller, he's got a whole closet full of china tonight. Another sweet dish.
It's been a tradition since 1876. Think about that. That's more than 120 years ago that this company started making Budweiser under Adolphus Busch. The family has always put in the forefront, protect the excellence of the product Budweiser. And I think he would be very happy that the generations of his family have practiced what he taught us.
You know, I've played in the U.S. and Canada, so I've got friends all over. That's why I use 10-10-2-20. It's only 99 cents up to 20 minutes and just 10 cents a minute after that within the U.S. or to Canada. So when I call my buddy Phelan here in the States, or my brother in Canada, it's just 99 cents all day, every day. With 10-10-2-20, all your calls can be under $1. Hey, little brother, go long. Falls for it every time.
Hey! Hey!
ESPN's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball is brought to you by Snickers. Not going anywhere for a while? Grab a Snickers. Hungry? Why wait?
82-72 Utah here in Salt Lake City. 3:28 remaining. And how about a weekly event that'll count down the top 50 athletes of the past century? Chris Everett, the first honoree last week at number 50. This week we'll take a look at the life and career of O.J. Simpson. Friday, 9 Eastern on ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Part of the Go Network. Go.com. And who knows, maybe Andre Miller will be one of the best of the next century.
Andre Miller with 13 assists tonight. Overall, the Utes with 27.
And I think it's a tragedy that guys like Dan Bonner and Larry Conley were left off that list. I just can't understand it.
We tied for 13th, and it's like hotels. They don't have any 13th floors. So since we tied for 13th, they just eliminated it.
All right. Andre Miller. On top, Adam Sharp. Utah spreading the floor here a little bit with just over 3 minutes to go. Shot clock will come into play now as it goes under 10. It's at 6. Miller away from Eli. It's at 3. Sharp. Short. Rebound Willie Farley of Fresno.
Well, you want to be able to spread the court, but you'd like to score after you run the clock down. You don't want to lose your aggressiveness on offense. The other team is looking for stops. Now Fresno has to convert.
Everybody moving off the ball. Roberson for Eli. Medela on his hip. Shot clock at 11. Using that pivot foot. Short. Tip. Farley's got it. Penetrates. Ball hits the bottom of the iron. Jensen rebounds. Sharp for Miller. And the Utes will take their time with 2:15 remaining.
Boy, and Miller, it's just great to have experience and intelligence like that in your backcourt. He just takes the ball up, even though he had a 2-on-1 break, and just held on to it.
I tell you, Andre's a little gassed right now. He's breathing heavy down on that baseline. But he'll explode on you anytime. He'll flash on top here and receive the ball from Tony Harvey. Shot clock at 6. High pick Medela. He goes left. Pulls up. Short. Heron may have had a piece of it.
That's good defense by Heron. Heron's got good quickness. Great athleticism.
Roberson penetrating. And he kicks it right to Jensen. Andre Miller all alone. We got some tired players on this floor.
It has been a very intense effort.
I'll tell you, Melvin Eli can't move. They got to call a timeout. He looks like he's ready to pass out right in front of us. Officials timeout called. Is that what it is?
Yes. Yeah, Eli just couldn't go.
I mean, he was shaking his head. His eyes were rolling around right in front of us, looking over to Tark saying, get me out of here.
Well, I think he's having some sort of stomach problems, Bob. He was, the last time they put him in the game, he went to the scorer's table, and he was pointing at his stomach, so I think that he's got some discomfort. But he has played very, very hard tonight. You talk about people playing with intensity, and Eli has really worked hard getting up and down the court, has battled all night long for position inside, and has had a pretty good game, at least on the offensive end.
Well, barring a dramatic comeback, Utah will go to 5-0. Their 30 straight wins at home, 4th longest streak in the NCAA at stake coming in. We thought this one could be a booby trap for them tonight, but they are about to close the deal. 1:19 to go. They lead by 12.
Bob, this is a talented Fresno State team. It's a team that has really a lot of potential, particularly on the offensive end, but Utah has just played a superb basketball game tonight.
Alexander, he breaks a 3-minute Fresno drought with that field goal, and Courtney has 20 tonight.
Boy, does he get up on his jump shot.
They break the pressure easily. Miller will weave around. We're in the final minute, and a grab by Courtney Alexander. He was able to go from the 9:03 mark of the first half until just now before getting his 4th foul. Well, Utah has a week ahead with a winnable game Saturday on the road at UTEP. Melvin Eli still gassed over there. And then a big one coming up next Monday night, midnight Eastern for those of you on the coast. It'll be Utah at New Mexico in Albuquerque. Rick knows all about the pit. It'll be a tough one next Monday night.
Well, I think that This is a top 25 team we're looking at. They're not in the top 25, but they sure are.
Well, they're 26th in the voting. They did get enough votes this week to be just out of the top 25. And
well,
I would think next Monday they'll be in the top 25 going on to Albuquerque.
Well, I think part of the problem for Rick Majerus is the expectations by the experts were so high at the beginning of the season, and then when the Utes lost 4 of their first 9 games, they sort of fell in everyone's opinion. It's hard to get back.
Miller for Killian. That'll put a lid on it. 87-74 in the final 45 seconds. Everybody in this league still says the road to the WAC championship goes through Utah. Fresno finds that out firsthand tonight. Andre Miller with tying a career high 14 assists in this game.
There's about a 2-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock.
It matters not, huh?
No, I don't think so.
Gary Tarkanian hasn't put his coat back on, but he's holding it. We're 5 seconds or so from Sports Center.
And it's a shot clock violation.
That's all right.
See, that's about 2 seconds.
1.9. You were close, Dan. Mathematics degree from Virginia. 87-74 Utah. And right now, there's no doubt who's in first place. Dan Bonner in the Pacific Division of the WAC.
Boy, an extremely impressive performance by Utah. Fresno State, as I said, a good basketball team, but Andre Miller just too much for him tonight.
Sports Center coming up next on ESPN with Rich Eisen and Reese Davis, Super Bowl, Dickie V, and the NBA. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.